Here's a company that listed in 2006. Its name is Esorfranki. It's a civil engineering and construction company, and the construction industry has been through a few ups and downs since that listing. In the Joburg studio is Bernie Krone, the CEO of Esorfranki. Bernie, do you remember all those years ago when we were in a Joburg radio studio and you were listening to the JSE and you were bright-eyed, and I said to you, you must be mad to go on the JSE because your life is now going to be dissected by every analyst and broadcaster. But you've obviously enjoyed it. You've effected a turnaround strategy. But overall, over the last 6 years, how's it been for you?
Well, well, first of all, good afternoon, Lindsay, and good afternoon to the listeners as well. But
thank you.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, I must say. You know, you talk back in 2006, March 2006. I remember when share prices were up at about 9 Rand, PE ratios of close to 30, and everybody was bullish. Then we had an economic meltdown, and it's been pretty tough since then. As you say, we have turned it around a bit, and you know, we're looking forward to some better times going forward.
No, quite right. I mean, it's the nature of the business. It's cyclical, but it's a testament to your to the solidity of your business that you're still here. Other people have sort of fallen by the wayside. Revenue over the 6-month period to the end of August, Bernie, up 33%. Headline earnings per share 7.8 cents versus headline loss per share over the last period 3.9 cents. So, how have you done this? Is it because of the Is it simply because of the sort of tentative turnaround in the South African economy off a very, very low base? What's your story?
Not really, Lindsay. I think it's basically, you know, we've always said we're a fairly resilient sort of company, and I think we lost a bit of our resilience with some loss-making contracts. So we managed to get those out the back door, and we've gone back to our resilience again. So we've managed to compete in this tough market and get work at better margins, changed our focus a little bit, and just maybe worked harder, smarter, faster, and you know, turned it around.
Tell me about the loss-making contracts. What actually happens there? You strike a deal with somebody, you agree on a price, and then after that it's up to you. And if the price of your materials, if the price of your labour goes up, if there's any disruption in the construction process, then it's entirely down to you, and that's the end of it. And so you've had a few of those, have you?
Yeah, and 2 years of very, very bad weather. As I say, I'm talking a couple of years back now. But one road contract in particular up at the N4, and also the last contract that we did on Gautrain, and really the weather didn't act in our favour. So, but that's behind us now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the operational side of things. Maybe start with civils. I see your revenue in civils up 69% and orders up over 100%. So things really cooking there. Maybe you could tell us about the last 6 months.
Yeah, we've had some different type of contracts there. We've picked up some nice infrastructure and building contract down in Katu, and also we have a development contract up in Orchards near Roslyn. So that's added quite a bit to our order book, and also we have a lot of work up at Kusile Power Station as well, and increasing as well. So along with 3 road contracts, one of those is coming to a head at the moment, but yeah, so we've got some good quality work and quite diverse in the civil sector.
Okay, elsewhere operationally, look at pipelines and geotechnical. Maybe you could first of all tell us how they're doing, and secondly how they relate to the civil side in terms of your sort of earnings pie chart. How important are they?
Civil's leading the charge at the moment. It's probably half of our turnover. If we look at pipelines have been a bit disappointing over the last few years, and not all of our making. Our flagship contract BG3 was very slow off the ground. It's dragged on a bit. Then of course we had this Western Aqueduct debacle where that contract was taken out from underneath our feet. But just recently we've picked up a lot of work on the pipeline side of things down in KwaZulu-Natal. So they are, you know, I think their first half this year was about 150 million that they've turned over, and looking good to do about 300, 350 somewhere around there for this year overall. Geotechnical, probably twice that amount. I think we did 410 million compared to just over 400 last year. So, you know, that's a accounting for about 40%, or say 35% of our overall revenue, and some reasonable margins coming out of there. We have sold one of the properties that we had down in KwaZulu-Natal though, so that's skewing our PBIT figures a little bit. We made some profits there that are not headline earnings. But yeah, geotechnical is always short duration, short lead-in time, so we never have much of a horizon looking forward there, probably 3-4 months. Whereas on the civil side and now the pipeline side, we all have almost a year's revenue cover. So, both those all three divisions looking good going forward.
Very good. You talked about the roller coaster. Well, the roller coaster seems to be sort of rising, and let's hope it keeps on rising. We were speaking to Kees Bruggemans, the chief economist of FNB, about the Construction Confidence Index a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to me that it's got some momentum going. What about the competition, though, Bernie? Is it still quite stiff out there? That's actually what you say in your post-results commentary, stiff competition. Is it enough, though, to give you enough margin to make this worthwhile? Obviously it is.
Look, it's a bit like going out into very bad weather. As long as you're dressed appropriately, you can cope with it. So I think we've taken the steps that we need to actually survive in this competitive market. We're still waiting, obviously, and we're very disappointed in government for talking very big about the presidential infrastructure initiative, and really nothing has come out of that at this point in time. So we're sort of surviving without taking that into account. If that does happen, we'll be delighted, and obviously we'll try and get our share of it, as will everybody else. But it is still tough out there. It is competitive. Fortunately, we haven't had any real problems with payment. I mean, we always, everybody doesn't want to pay everybody else, but we're surviving that. In fact, our debtor days are better than they have been just recently, so we're making headway there as well. And yeah, I think we're coping in what is quite a hostile environment.
My bookmaker always says to me, Lindsay, pay it and the pain goes away. So maybe some of your customers could adopt that policy. Just very finally, Bernie, you say here our focus remains expansion into Africa. Your disappointment with the South African government is probably one of the reasons you're doing that, but also because this continent of ours is transforming itself. How exciting is that for you?
Well, I think it's like everything. I always use a little analogy. If you've got a cordon bleu chef at home who's cooking for you, why send out for wimpy takeaways? But yeah, look, we prefer to work at home. But yeah, we're making some quite good headway in Ghana. We've had 5 contracts up there, and one of them is quite a big one, 100 million rand sort of marine contract. We've done some sort of pioneering work in Uganda in terms of deep basement excavation and lateral support, which they don't do much of up there, so it's a fairly new sort of initiative for them. And Kenya, we've had a couple of, a contract in Kenya, there's some more prospects there. Tanzania, whole east coast is looking quite good. Mauritius a bit flat at the moment. And with our civils and pipeline contract, we are hoping to cross one border at a time. We are very much aware that probably difficulty of traveling through Africa, it's probably proportional to the cube of the number of borders that you cross. So, we do know we have limitations, and we'll probably go one border at a time. Mozambique, Botswana, probably Zimbabwe as well.